Welcome back to another edition of You've Been School. I'm your host, Dominique Williams, joined by the lovely
Alyssa Valdez. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to sit beside you.
So fun to be
talk
here.
Things all sports. And I will say I was entertained.
Are you not entertained?
Because college football was definitely in the headlines for all the reasons.
Oh.
Rivalry week, and we kicked off rivalry week with a win.
Bang.
Beating UCLA.
Yes,
Isn't that
if you're going to win, beat your rival. That's
Look,
all I got to say.
If you're losing the whole season, the one thing you got to do is...
You got to do it.
You got to beat your
rivals.
So go
Enough
on,
said.
USC Trojans. But
Fight on.
what does the future of USC's program look like now that the days are kind of behind them now at the end of the season?
Let's say they're going to be watching the championship on TV with the rest of us.
Yes.
Hate to say it, love USC, but Lincoln Riley, I'm sorry.
President Lincoln Riley, what is going on? We losing commits.
Got to get it together.
Miller Moss is into the transfer portal.
Yes.
And he thinks he
Four
could.
commits.
4 commits.
Plus Moss.
And I'm trying to figure out what team does Miller Moss think he fits with now, because he's saying he wants to be with a team that builds better. That he wants to be a better leader,
more developed than this program offered him.
But if you couldn't develop here, what's the next team for you to fit in to start at quarterback? That's where I'm kind of like a little bit.
I personally think he should have stayed where he was, but that's just me.
Maybe it was losing his spot to well, you know what I'm saying, never let a freshman take your spot. But this time he let a redshirt sophomore take his spot. And it just proves that maybe we want players that got that dog mentality. We want those players that are going to put whatever they can, blood, sweat, and tears into a program. And, hey, if he doesn't feel like it's here, then we hope he finds
Wish him the best.
And so...
But I'm biased. I thought we were the best. So. We could be the best. Let's just say that.
Yeah, maybe if we got like a different coach, maybe his name is Deion Primetime Sanders, who's flipping 5-star quarterback
if
Julian
I were them,
Lewis.
I'd probably jump ship there too. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. I mean, University of Deion Sanders sounds a whole lot way better than...
Can we just do a trade?
I announced a trade.
No pun intended, but let's do a trade. This is football.
Or a transfer portal. A transfer portal coaches.
You can have Riley. We'll take Deion Sanders, please.
All right, enough of that. Let's talk about another good program, at least in Los Angeles, we'll say. From the gridiron to the hardwood, got to talk about the women of Troy. Bouncing back, 3-game win streak after that loss to Notre Dame at home.
That was a painful one to watch.
That was so painful, especially.
But there was a silver lining.
Or?
In this case, a gold lining. I mean, they were exposed.
Yes.
But it wasn't a negative. They turned it into a positive.
It woke them up.
It woke everybody up.
That Kiki and Juju cannot do it all by themselves.
And
they've been doing what they need to do.
They've been doing amazing.
Yes, especially Kiki, who's been finding more of her rhythm in the paint, dominating, crashing the boards, going to the charity stripe, was 12 for 12
flawless
against St. Louis in that game.
Rebounding.
And scoring double figures. Finally, both Juju and Kiki scoring 30-plus points.
Oh, Juju breaking records?
Single game
Another record, I should say.
Of scoring 9 3-pointers.
And to be her assistant coach,
Courtney Jacobs, surpassing your very own.
Sorry, not sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry.
No, for real.
You're gonna break someone's record, break your assistant coach's record.
Exactly, which just proves like how much, like I said, dog mentality.
And this early on in the season.
Yes, because she was struggling from the 3-point line in a few of these games early on. And there was one game she was 0 for 5 from the 3-point line. So to go 9 for 11 was a dramatic increase.
My imaginary I was off to her.
She's getting those shots up. And so what does the team look like moving forward, going into conference play against Oregon heading into the weekend?
I think we need to continue to get assistance from off the bench, which we've been seeing like in the St. Louis game last Friday night, last night's game against Cal Baptist. I mean, people coming off the bench.
Like K9, she's been phenomenal. She actually started in a few games over the last 2 weeks. That kind of changed the transition a bit and kind of got the team going and moving. So, and definitely after losing Kennedy down to that injury. So we're seeing like Malia Samuels now step up, another young player. And we're going to need to feed more from the bench and see that development.
And then, you know, the theme, in especially the season opener against Ole Miss, was the 26 turnovers.
Yeah, which was a theme that they're now cracking down on, and they're limiting their turnovers.
They're doing better. I mean, or last week's game, zone defense. They weren't expecting, but at halftime made adjustments, got it together, and we're seeing improvements. Yeah. And it's early on in the season.
Definitely early on. And we'll continue to see more improvements as the season continues now heading into conference play. But
I like what I'm seeing.
I love what I'm seeing.
I love what I'm seeing.
It's the Juju and the Women of Choice show.
It gives everybody good juju. I'm sorry for the puns, but I had to.
Love it. Well, that wraps up our time on this edition of You've Been School. I'm Dominique Williams.
I'm Alyssa Valdez.
Catch you later.
Thank you for joining us.